Welcome to part 4 of Overcoming Objections. This is the last episode in our series. To recap, real quick, in this series I'm talking about objections we get in our sales conversations and how to handle them. So if you missed parts 1, 2, and 3, then take a moment to catch the goodness that I shared with you over the last few weeks. I started with how we have our own objections that we wrestle with and how to look at what comes up for us in the way of resistance. And in part 2 and 3, I talked about the biggest resistance we get around money, time, and that checking in with someone else objections. So now I'm going to give you a couple more tools and then we'll be done with this series. There's another barometer to know if somebody is really a yes or a no. And is there resistance or objection that's going to show up and knock them off their game? And I'm going to give you 2 things. Tool number 1 is the stories you tell inside of your sales conversations. The stories that you should say about somebody else who accomplished things. And I want you to think of ones that show an objection that you or someone else overcame, okay? So this person got on a call with me and they were like, no way, no how. I still even remember this client. We've been working together for almost 3 years, and she has probably referred 4 or 5 people to me, which between her and those other clients has generated multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars, either directly or indirectly into my business. So the first thing she said to me, and we laugh about this now, when she got on that call was, Christy, I'm not buying from you no matter what. We're going to talk now, and I'm not buying from you. I'm already happy with my other vendor. And I was like, cool, okay. I wasn't even asking you right now. And she's like, what? I know we're on a sales call right now. And I was like, nope, I haven't even asked you for a sale. And I will say at the end of the call, she did pull out her credit card and she was laughing. She did give it to me and she did buy from me. And her resistance was so high at the beginning of the call. And I love telling stories like that because how did I get her from being so resistant to a yes? Well, I listened to her. I was relaxed and I understood what was happening because she was petrified since she had had a bad transaction multiple times, and she didn't want to have that happen one more time. So, have you ever bought something and you didn't get what you needed? It's happened to all of us, and she couldn't do it one more time either. So, what I did was I actually listened to her, and then I showed up and showed her how this time would be different. And guess what? It was. She met me when she had maybe, I think, $10,000 in her business. She'd only done that in 2 years. It was bad. I checked in with her and she just had her second $100,000 month last month. And guess what? She's an event designer who helps her clients get their vision. So we're talking about massive impact, massive change in her life, and massive impact for her clients. I tell her story because this is the type of story I want you to bring to all your sales calls. I want you to see how you change people's lives, no matter what the service is that you bring to the table. So when you stay in that energy, it's very easy to guide someone through. I don't have money. Well, let's find a way. Let's help you see a way. I don't have time. Great. Let's find out what needs to happen so you can free up some time. I just started taking some time out to go to some Pilates classes. And it's been an amazing way for me to get a workout and concentrate on me, even if it's just for an hour. And I remember talking with one of my very best friends, and I kept telling her, I don't have time to do this. And she's like, when can you do it? And I'm like, nope, I can't do it this time because it's not going to work out. And if I do it here, then I'm going to have to take away from working on this. So I don't want to take away from that. Everything else was a priority. And she just stopped me. And she said, Christy, you don't want to do this. And of course, I argued with her just like I was a little kid. And she said, no, you don't, because you're fighting me on it. You're telling me why you can't. And then something shifted in me when she said that. And that night, I booked the rest of my classes for the month. So what happened was I referred to my own resistance, and I decided if this was what I actually wanted. It was time to let go of the resistance and step into a change. I also made it easy for myself. It just got started. And that's what you also want to bring to your clients. I always say this on calls. Don't worry if you don't have 100% belief, because all you need is to borrow mine. And then this is the other tool. The truth of the matter is, there's no such thing as I don't have the money. There's no such thing as I don't have the right time or timing, or I need to talk to another person. There's really only one of two things happening when you can clue into this, that people are either a yes or a no. It will make a difference in how you talk to them. So here's what you can say. So there's one of two things happening. One, have you ever had this experience? And yeah, I do say this to them. You do not fully believe in yourself or trust yourself to do what must be done to get what you desire. And that's why you're not a yes right now. And that's okay. Or the second option is that you don't trust me. I'm not the one to guide you there. So which is it? And it's okay for one, and maybe it's both. But here's the great thing. I know why you don't fully trust yourself to get what you desire. You just haven't done it before. So you don't have to. All you have to do is borrow my belief. Now, if you don't fully trust me that maybe I'm the right person to guide you, that's okay too, because that's my job here in this conversation. And then I always ask, what do you need to know? And P.S., it's almost always that it's the first one that they're dealing with. It's almost never the second one. And I still remember doing this on one call. And I remember asking this person, and she just said, Christy, I just met you. I don't know. And I was like, okay, great. What else do you need to know then? And she asked, well, are you certified? I said, yeah. Do you want to know about my certification? And she's like, yeah. And so I told her a little bit about it. And then I said, what else would I be able to tell you about? And she said, I don't really know any of your clients. I was like, okay, tell me a few people that you work with, and I bet maybe I can find somebody that we both know. And do you want me to tell you a few more stories about my clients? And do you want to take a look at my website? And as soon as we started talking a little bit more, she got into that relaxed space. So here's the other part. Take your time. And I said this before, and some of my clients use my getting to yes in 5 steps. It might happen in 15-minute conversation. Some take an hour. Some take 2 hours. There's no right or wrong amount of time, but this is what I know. A lot of people are in a rush to get a credit card. When I'm in these conversations, I'm in a moment of deep connection. Because here's the thing, I want my no's to be a no and then have them go on. Let me ask you this. Have you ever taken on a misaligned client? Have you ever had a moment where it doesn't feel right? Here's the other way it shows up. Maybe they bail on their payment, or you start to work with them and there's nothing really wrong with them, but there's just a miss there. So I want the no's to be no's because I want the yeses. They get all of the goodness of what I want to give my clients. They're going to get all the goodness that you get to give your clients. So be willing to sit in the uncomfortable space. Find out what's really going on for them. If you're not hearing objections, and this happens too, because if you're not getting the objections, then it's because you aren't setting yourself into action and asking for the sale. Now, Have you ever gotten in the conversation and the person's like, I just need to think about it? What does that mean? So I'm going to give you one more tool, okay? Obviously, I want to give you all the tools, right? But it would take like 12 days of training. So here's the fun tool. I like to ask somebody, okay, what would it take for it to be a yes for you? Where are you on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 being, bye-bye, Christy, I never want to talk to you again. And 10 being, let's get started right now, today. Where are you? And I listen to what they say. And there's no magic number here. If someone gives me a 1, 2, or 3, it's probably not a fit. And if someone's somewhere around 6 or more, I say, great. What would it take to get you from a 6 to a 10? Then someone will legitimately tell you what they need to hear from you in order to buy. It's a game changer. I still remember when I had this $60,000 package that I sold to a client for their event. And she said to me, honestly, Christy, where I am right now is I'm overwhelmed. What would make this a yes for me would be if you could just manage it all for me and then I could move forward with relief. And I said, okay, great. So let's do that. And she was like, what? And I said, yeah, let's do that. I would add another, I can't even remember, something to the price, and that would get you to the thing that you want. So it's right here. Are you a yes then? And she was. So I want for you to hear what people say so that you can get them to a yes. And here's the other one that I like to do if someone says it's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I will say, great, well, tell me what are the 9 reasons it's a yes. And here's the delightful thing that starts to happen. People will sell themselves. If someone can give you 6 reasons why it's a yes, by the time they get to the 6th one, they will be at the yes. This can be really fun. So remember, somebody is not saying no to you. That's another thing. I do not ever take any of my no's personally. They're not saying no to me. They're saying no to themselves, quite frankly. And sometimes we're just not a match, and that's okay, because I understand what resistance is. I know that it's their desire to stay safe. We stay safe because we know how to deal with it. Remember when I was talking in another episode about the person who stays in their miserable place? Why on earth would they stay in this messy place in life if they don't like it? It's because it's familiar to them. They know how to survive. So in this community, though, we're not just survivors here. This space is full of people who desire to thrive. And thriving requires getting comfortable with change. And when you're comfortable with change, you can guide other people to be comfortable with change. So the final thing I want to leave you with is in this series is that I said, you don't have to go buy the thing in order to get through the money objections. I really want you to clue in to what you're selling. Tap into your own value. Walk yourself through your own objections to the things that you're buying and your own objections to what you're selling. If you ever think nobody's going to buy it for that, I promise you, no one will buy it for that. And if you feel locked and confident, you can guide someone through exactly what they need to do to be at a yes. So my hope is that you will take some of these tools in your next sales conversation. Show up being confident, ready to walk someone through their own objections to their own yes. And be honest and true. What is a priority for you? So next time you're given an invitation, ask yourself those 2 questions. Do I believe in myself to do what must be done to get what I desire? The fun thing about this for me is that I've never not gotten results working with coaches or buying programs. Do you know why? I believe in myself to do that thing to get what I desire. I'm locked into that. And I didn't start with that, though. I had to grow into that mindset. And I grow it by working with people that I only trust. And that's the second question. Do I trust this person? When I know that with that person I can borrow their trust and their faith that they have in me, then I'm able to strengthen the faith and trust that I have in myself and get my results. And those people that are curious, those are the people that get the results they're looking for. That's the space you want to step into when you're in your next sales conversation. Thanks for listening to this series about overcoming objections and resistance. I'm curious, have you found some insights into how to handle objections that you haven't known how to handle before? Are you thinking that you can tackle this a bit easier next time? I certainly hope so. If you like what you've been hearing, I'd love for you to tap on that subscribe button and leave me a review to tell me what you think. Bye for now.